good for him, but it kind of illustrates just how ridiculous the NBA is these days.
Well, with free agency?
Yes, because when you have a veteran like Cousins, who is a guy who should be getting a big contract, or at least a contract, even if he wants to take a 1-year deal to set himself up for a long-term deal, somebody like that should be getting at least $15 million. I don't care even if he's coming off an injury and everything else. The fact that he signs a $5 million contract, which is way below what his market value should be, just to go to the Celtics, or I'm sorry, just to go to the Warriors.
Right.
The system it's a mess. That's all I can say. It's a mess.
Well, I have no problems with LeBron going to the Lakers. I think, to me, part of it has to do with his TV production expansion that he's been doing. It's too bad that he had a falling out again, it seems, with the Cleveland Cavaliers owner, because he signed so fast. I think that was part of it.
No, I think this was kind of the plan all along. I
don't know.
I mean, it's been discussed. It's been discussed for a while that LeBron was thinking hard about the Lakers, and that was going to be a serious consideration for him. And I think he's leaving also with a clear conscience, because he went back to Cleveland to win a title for the Cavaliers. He did that. So it's not like the Cavaliers fans could say, "Oh, he's abandoning us and he's a traitor." And this, he did his job. He did what he was supposed to do. He won you a title. So you can't. You know what? You can't complain.
I didn't see as many LeBron shirts being burned when he left this time. It's interesting. We're here on Long Island, and John Tavares leaves to go to Toronto, which we talked about at the end of the show last week. A lot of people are taking the Tavares name tag off the jersey,
right,
and they're putting back Butch Goring. So it's like, well, that's a good thing. I have a feeling, and this is going off topic just a little bit, that Tavares, I think he ends up being like a Mark Messier. He ends up returning to the Islanders eventually, somehow. I don't know.
I don't see it. First, his contract is too long. He's getting 7 years. He's going to be 35 by the time this contract ends.
I'm not saying at the end of the contract, sometime during the contract.
No. Then the Islanders would have to trade for him? That's not going to happen.
Who knows?
They're not going to trade. They're not going to trade for a guy who they could have signed in free agency and have to give up probably significant assets to get him back. Well, because if they did wind up trading for him, it would probably be somewhere in maybe the 4th or 5th season. He's still 31 or 32 at that point, and still, maybe not in his prime, but still close enough to it where he'd be an impact type of player. You're going to have to give up significant assets for that kind of player. I think that bridge has been burned. And,
well, I do know that when he gets there, the covering of the team that he's on is going to be different than it was in New York. So
it's going to be way different. And this is something that he needs to prepare for, because he has to know this going in. He knows what it's like when he goes to the All-Star game every year. John Tavares is the one player in either side who gets swarmed by media, because they all wanted to know, John, where are you going? John, hey, what about Toronto? And all the Canadian press is all, are you coming back to Toronto? It's all about Toronto, and it was always like that. He is going to be that guy now. I was always convinced that John Tavares just wanted to be able to play hockey, win games, and avoid the spotlight. And now he has thrust himself squarely into unavoidable face of the league. Never mind face of the franchise, face of the league kind of spotlight. And I don't understand, for a guy who never seemed to want that and certainly never craved it, why he's put himself in that position. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I agree. Just some leftover from last week about Tavares, and it's a sad thing. But the Islanders made a lot of moves since then. And you know what? We have
Matt Martin's coming back.
Matt Martin's coming back.
That's 25 points.
Barzell is the new face of the team.
Yeah, but he shouldn't have to be.
No.
He's still a young kid.
But you know what it reminds me of?
You know what
it reminds me of a little bit? When Trottier became the face of the team. And it was, like 2 years into him being on the team. So that's where I don't know if he is.
I don't know that he became the face of the team.
I don't know.
But look at everyking he had around him. He had Dennis Potvin around him still,
Potvin
and he had Billy Smith and Chico Resch, who both of those guys were I don't know if Billy Smith was so friendly with the media, but Chico certainly was.
Yeah.
He had a lot of buffers and a lot of guys to help him with that.
That's true.
For Barzal, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Johnny Boychuk and Nick Leddy. I mean, they're two veteran guys, but they're both defensemen. I don't know from a forward standpoint who takes on that load. I mean, Barzal's what, 21, 22?
Yeah, he's
I mean,
young as hell.
It's not a role he should have to accept or play up to at this point in his career. He's still a young kid.
Yeah,
he should be able to kind of grow gradually into that role. I mean, I know Tavares pretty much had that role since day one, but that's what happens when you're the number one overall pick.
Yeah, well,
you get that role whether you like it or not,
and especially on a team that's had 4 championships and is looking for a return, which
just a return to the playoffs. Never mind the return to winning a Stanley Cup. I mean, the playoffs would be nice.
Yes, who would? The Knicks signed Kevin Knox to a rookie contract, and he's been playing
standard first round stuff.
Yeah,
that's what the NBA does now. They have slots, and you pay what the slot is. But that being said, second round pick Mitchell Robinson, who I'm starting to like this kid more and more, just from what I'm hearing and seeing out of the summer league in Las Vegas. Mitchell Robinson could wind up being a steal of the draft.
Why do you say that?
Because he is a 7-foot freakish athlete. The kid can jump out of the gym. He didn't play at all last year. He's got the weird backstory where he was supposed to go to. First of all, he was one of the top prospects, if not the top big man prospect in high school, coming out in 2017. Then he's supposed to go to Western Kentucky. I don't even understand why Western Kentucky. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense for somebody who is that much of a prospect coming out of high school to go to Western Kentucky made no sense. I'm not even going to speculate as to why I thought he went there. Then he takes a summer class at Western Kentucky, and following the summer class, drops out of school.
Okay.
So he took one class in college.
Wow.
That was it. So
imagine we could have done that.
So now he decides, all right, you know what? I'm not going to go to college. I'm just going to train and get ready for the NBA draft, which is bizarre, but it's all perfectly legal according to the NBA. Obviously, his draft stock was hurt because he wound up falling into the second round. Apparently, according to Mark Berman of the Post today, there was some talk about the Knicks actually moving up in the draft because they didn't think Robinson was going to last until the 36th pick, which is where the Knicks picked him. Now, what the Knicks have done, and I think just after this very small sample size, where Robinson, surprisingly, after not playing for a year, has shown pretty much no rust, which is amazing, and shows you and tells you what kind of an athlete this kid is. But the Knicks have signed him to a 4-year deal.
It's pretty.
Now, a standard rookie contract or 1 year it would be a 1 year contract for a second round pick. The Knicks, what they've done is taken some of their mid-level exemption, and they've used some of that money and signed Robinson to a 4-year deal. It has escape clauses after the second and third years, and it'll pay him if I remember correctly, $6.4 million. So it's a $1.6 million hit against the cap this year, and I assume each year because that's the math. But it's a great deal for the Knicks, assuming that this kid turns into what he has shown thus far. You're talking about an inside presence, a shot blocking presence, a kid who can rebound, a kid who can bang down low. He needs to figure out maybe his footwork a little more. He's been fouling people like crazy. The summer league, they allow you 10 fouls in a game before you foul out. Both of the games he's played, he's had 9 fouls.
What is this, 3-on-3?
No, it's 5-on-5. But
I know.
You let people play. You want guys to be able to play and get the experience, as opposed to he's got 2 fouls in the first quarter. I got to take him out for the rest of the half.
Yeah.
You want him to play. So, but he's got to learn that at some point, hey, you don't get 10 fouls in a game, so calm down a little bit.
Well, it's one more thing. We're running out of time, so let's quickly just jump to MLS soccer. We are a soccer-friendly show. My team, the Red Bulls.
No, your team is NYCFC.
Well, I've changed my mind. I'm a Red Bull fan now.
Wow. Such allegiance.
My allegiance.
You're going to have to get a new scarf.
I'm waiting for the Cosmos to come back.
They're back. They're playing.
But it's not. About? It's like the B League or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
playing.
Weekend Warriors. It's
they're
not even
playing.
Like do they get paid or something?
Danny Zatella, he's still out there. I love that kid.
Anyway, Jesse Marsh has stepped down as head coach of the Red Bulls.
This was shocking. It really was to me.
Why
because it came out of nowhere. You're in the middle of the season, and like I said, the Premier League starts in about a month. But Jesse Marsh has apparently stepped down as the head coach of the Red Bulls and is expected to accept a position with Red Bull Leipzig, which is another club that's owned by Red Bulls, which obviously owns the New York Red Bulls. He is either going to be the head coach or in a front office position. But either way, he's heading to Leipzig.
I look forward to this.
So, good for Jesse Marsh. I don't know that I would want to actually go to Leipzig. But it does show that the company has plans for him and are I guess pleased with the job that he's done in New York. Chris Armas, who old-time MLS fans remember him as a player for the Chicago Fire, but he's a New York guy, and he's been Marsh's assistant for the last couple of years. He has been named as the head coach. Actually coached his first game last night, against your New York your former team NYCFC.
Gave up on him,
which and actually wound up with the loss in his first game because Maximiliano Morales scored in the 85th minute to give NYCFC the 1-0 win. So an inauspicious debut for Chris Armas.
Well, that's what happens, Let's go MLS soccer. I give them credit. They keep going. These one game a week things that they're doing.
That's what it is, brother.
During the World Cup, usually international events, they step away. The NHL did during the Olympics,
right?
Not the MLS. That's good.
Oh.
Anyway, Tim, thank you for another great show.
Thank you, brother.
And coming up next,
you.
Coming up next is who, brother?
Big Ed.
Big Ed's ready, man. He's ready to kick some
He's
butt.
dialing in and pushing buttons over there.
Let me tell you about a show here at WHPC, brother, called FM Punk every Thursday at 11 p.m.
Love that show.
It's a radio show dedicated to all different kinds of punk music, including metalcore, hardcore, thrashcore, as well as folk punk and pop punk.
What about Ramones Core?
I hope they play that too. Hosted by Riley Hogan. That's FM Punk every Thursday at 11 p.m. right here on 90.3 WHPC. Big Ed is ready, and he is standing tall.
Looks like you got a haircut too.
Did he?
That was 2 weeks ago.
Oh, all right.
He wasn't here 2 weeks ago.
It looks like he combed.
right.
Looks like he combed his hair then.
Ed combed his hair. Everyone will take a picture and put it on Facebook. Ed will never see it because he's not on Facebook, but that's okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
The views expressed on air are not necessarily those of WHBC, its management, or Nassau Community College. Responsible opposing viewpoints will be considered by emailing them to whbc@ncc.edu or by mail at WHBC 1 Education Drive, Garden City, New York 11530. Thanks for listening to the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHBC.